Thank you guys so much. Hello, Miss Becky. Hello, Miss Margaret. Hello from New York City. So good to see you. And we are Dave and Yvette Ulloa. We are super humbled and excited to share this with you. We've been wanting to share this, but I think this week we hit a breaking point because we started hearing from some of our really close friends who love and adore each other saying, oh, I can't wait till the kids are back at school, or man, today we had such a big fight and we almost killed each other and we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't even get away from each other. And so we thought this would be a good session to do just because of everything that's going on. All of us together are in a completely different, uncharted territory. And we are encompassing new challenges, new levels of tension. We just spoke to a good friend of ours, platinum partner with Tony Robbins, and they had to lay off over 200 employees, and they're desperately trying to help them find jobs, businesses, anything they can start. They're 2-3 months behind on payments. What do you think that does to the family structure, the stress, depression? And then maybe also if you are by yourself and you are single and ready to mingle, some of these tools here can help you get into that place of massive attraction, because there is a code to all this that we have learned. And just so you know a little bit on our personal story, we have been married since 1999. And when we met, we were...
It was Prince.
Yeah.
Party like it's 1999.
That was a song in our CD that we gave away. Yeah, so he police officer, government employee. So imagine when we got married, we were two different humans. Then add the stress of work, police work, and we'd like to share a little bit about the stresses of our marriage along the way. No,
not really. I can't even remember it, to be honest with you. It's so long ago. But oh man, we met in 1998. And we moved in literally within less than a year, so a couple of months into it, we moved in. And then we got engaged as I was going through the academy when I graduated. And now we both have our careers. We moved in together. We're married. And now we're looking to buy a house. We eventually buy a house probably about a year, almost 2 years into our marriage. And so now we got all of this overhead. And, living in America, I got caught up in the consumption society, in the debt society. And so we bought nice cars, we got a nice house. And now eventually it came to some point where there was more money going out than coming in. And so we were stressed out because we worked so hard and we had decent incomes. I mean, we were both making about 6 figures a year, but we were constantly fighting all the time because we hardly ever saw each other. And in anything you do in life, sports, business, friendship, if you're not nurturing it and you're not communicating and you're not making each other a priority, it's easy to just lose track of why that you're in a relationship. So we were constantly fighting, and we got to a place where we actually separated for several months, and we were considering a divorce. And it was the craziest thing because we loved each other, but we couldn't get along. It was like I was bringing out the worst in her, she was bringing out the worst in me, and none of us wanted to budge. And we figured if something doesn't change, then we're just going to end up another casualty, another statistic like a lot of other people.
Yeah, and so we started going to personal development workshops, trying to read, I would read every relationship book that I could find at Barnes and Noble bookstore. Has anybody ever done that? The self-help section. And I could not believe how much manipulation I found in so many of those books. It was like, pretend, do the silent treatment, and then he's gonna come to you. And then, for men, there was like this game thing. You play the game with the woman and you make it. I was just like, the relationships have got to be more simple than that. And there came a point where we built such a successful business, and then he was traveling around the world, I was traveling separately. We started building almost separate lives, and it's almost like we were great business partners and we had forgotten about our marriage.
If I could share this one point that just popped in that was so important, because I think in the beginning, a part of this was that we were blaming the other person for how they were showing up. So we were in a way in victim mode, or at least I was, of, well, I'm like this now, I'm shut down and I'm not going to make any decisions because of how you show up. And I kept blame, and it's kind of like a dance. And when you dance with somebody, sometimes somebody is leading and sometimes somebody is following. So the whole thought was, what if I'm responding to her, or what if she's responding to me? And we didn't know that each of us could be leading or following in the dance. But what if the other person, your partner, is responding to you? And from that place, we started saying, okay, instead of just hoping and praying that you change or you get better or me try to fix you, let me learn about me. Let me learn how I'm showing up, because we were bringing the worst out of each other. And that's when we went on this journey and we decided that we're not just going to settle for average. We got to find the best of the best. Who knows what we need to know? Who has the information when it comes to relationships? Because we knew if we took ourselves to that another relationship and we broke up, we're going to repeat the same pattern. And how many people do we know? The statistics are, if you get a divorce, the chances of you getting a second and a third divorce is ridiculous. And the reason is because you keep bringing the same person to the other relationship, and that's the definition of insanity, expecting a different result after doing the same thing over and over again.
Thank you. And hello, our Facebook friends. We have Jennifer, Barbati, Romel, Priscilla, Edith. Thank you so much for plugging in. And we still have a few minutes to tag and plug some people into this, because I have to tell you, this information saved our marriage. Like Dave said, we loved each other so much, and it was a year that we were about to hit 7 figures a year in our business. Everything was flowing. My health had improved. You know, we were at the top of our game, and then when we came home, it was like we were almost destroying each other. We didn't know, and we both hit a major block in our marriage. It's like, have you ever been in a place where you love somebody and then you can't stand them, right?
Huh? This is news to
I'm
me.
talking about you, about me.
Oh.
No, it went both ways, actually.
Yeah.
But we're like, oh, just our nerves. Like, it's like every word he said would trigger me. Like, hit the monkey, hit the monkey. Before you know it, we didn't even want to see each other, because every time we saw each other, it was building tension. And I will just pre-frame a little bit more, because when I was little, I experienced some abuse, and it came from a male figure in my life. And so I built this huge mask around me, this mask of strength, this mask of nobody's ever gonna hurt me again, this mask of, you know, I own my life and I will keep everybody at an arm's distance. And I brought that with me to my marriage. So guess what? In my marriage, initially, I was that feminine woman, girl, fun, playful. And it's almost as once we started building this business, I started getting that strong. Not that there's anything wrong with that part of me, but it's almost like I left the feminine part of me behind completely. And all of a sudden, you got 2 males, 2 people that are like, I was almost like a male in my business, because that's what it required. And he really liked that part of me that was like outselling and closing. But guess what? I was bringing that energy to my home. I was bringing that energy to my marriage. And I remember one time, I think that was like the breakthrough point, where I was like, so how many cells did you put in today? You know, and he was like, well, how many cells did you put? And we found ourselves like in a competitive match. And he said something to me so funny that night. There's like this one great, very red, you know, strong competitor, business partner of ours. He's a doctor. His name is Dr. Peach. And he said to me that night, he goes, babe, I don't want to go to sleep with Dr. Peach. And he was basically talking about me, because that's the energy I was bringing to my marriage. I had forgotten to be the girl that he loved, that he married, that he fell in love with. And I had become just mask after mask after mask. And I didn't know how to exercise that muscle of being me. And it took breaking up some of that armor and realizing that I can be me and be loved for being me, that he didn't need me to go and put in 10 sales for me to feel love. And that was a lot.
Well, let us also maybe ask you guys some questions, because we've been through our journey. You guys are going through your journey. And if you would let us know right now, what is your current relationship? Are you single and ready to mingle and looking for your queen or your princess, or not even looking? You're just single right now? Yeah, or your king? Are you single, or are you in a relationship right now? And if you are in a relationship, is your relationship an unbelievable relationship? Like, wow, you're firing off at a level 10 on all cylinders, or is it just a good relationship where it's good, you love each other and things are good? Or are you in a relationship where you've been planning your escape? Where you're like, no, I'm done, I'm out, I can't handle it anymore, and now you're trying to figure out how to get out of this relationship, but the quarantine got you thinking, how are we going to make this happen? But so where are you? We'd like to hear from you guys on where you are right now in your relationships. We'd love to share. I see Phyllis, okay, single, ready to mingle. We got Lily, who's single. Jessica is in a good relationship. Okay, relationship is good. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Lily, okay.
Man,
Lan is amazing.
She's been married for 28 years this Saturday.
Congratulations.
What? We are in a better place than we were. Good for you. Good for you, Lannis. That's awesome.
And here's what we will tell you. Being in a place of breakdown can be the best thing that's ever happened for your marriage or your relationship. I'm going to repeat that. Being in a place of breakdown can be one of the best places, because that's when you realize you truly love each other.
Well, I think that what you just said is so powerful, because how many of us, including us, you get so comfortable with your partner that you just go through the routines every day. And from that place of just having comfort, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's no energy behind that. And think of how many days, how many weeks, how many months. And that's where people end up having good, okay, average relationships, because there's not enough energy there to make some change. And so when chaos, when disruption, when you get disturbed, whether it be outside or inner circumstances, that forces people to do something. It forces people to move. It forces people to grow. And some people freak out with too much perturbation, and they run and they leave, or they destroy things. Others decide to, okay, be the oak tree in the midst of the storm, and how can I be better? How can I show up and add value? How can I treat my partner like a princess or a queen, so that they can be their best, so that I can be the best for them as well? And it's a whole different ball game when you come from that place. So this isn't, when Yvette and I teach relationship stuff, it's not about it being perfect all the time and you being happy all the time and you being joyful and giving all the time. No, sometimes you got to provide some resistance. I mean, you should see her when she gives me resistance. Man, it is tough, but I know she's doing it from a loving place, and I love her and I trust her. But sometimes she will give me some resistance, and I know that it's good, but it's tough. And we have some heated conversations over things.
Yes, and I've learned to give him resistance from a place of also holding my own space of what's important to me, because in the past I've always collapsed myself to whatever my partner's needs, wants, and desires, and then I found myself not even knowing who I was. It's like we had merged so much and created one that neither one of us had any independence or our own space, which is also very good for a relationship, to continue to nurture the things that you loved before the relationship, which most of us, or many of us, stop doing. And then guess what? We start resenting the other person.
Give an example of that, because I think we learn so much more from examples. And in the beginning of our relationship, instead of providing great feedback or wanting to bring out the best in the other person, sometimes it would be in the form of a complaint, or of just making it, trying to get the other person to change. Or passive aggressive.
Masters of the passive aggressive.
Yes. So some resistance in a healthy context is we know each other so well, just like you guys, if you're in a relationship, so you know what buttons to push that will piss the person off, that'll make them happy, that'll make them feel love and joy. She knows what brings out the best in me. And one of the things that for me is I love listening to personal development, especially my favorite is Tony Robbins. How many of you know who Tony Robbins is? Just when I hear his voice, because that was the first personal development teacher that I started listening to, I just get inspired. But like all of us, sometimes we go through life and we get comfortable and we forgot the things that we did in the beginning to get us to grow. And so I stopped listening to personal development for a while. And she knows that that is what brings the best out in me. So some resistance that she would do, and she did it, and she's done it in different ways, is she'll bring it up and she'll mention it. Hey, have you listened to any Tony Robbins lately? Hey, tomorrow morning, can we listen to some personal development when we wake up, listening it to it over, or when we're driving in the car? Hey, what book are you reading right now? Can you share with me? And so she would say it in a way where it's not a complaint, but it plants the seed in my mind. Like, oh my God, you're right. And so now that resistance of me getting out of my comfort zone, but her also providing the encouragement in a way where I don't push her away, I don't get pissed off at her, it's been invaluable.
Yes, because in the past it would have been a complaint. And one of the biggest things that we can learn through the quarantine, my friends, is turn every complaint into an ask. If there's one thing in partnership with your friends, with your team, people that you lead, your mother, turn every complaint into an ask. Because in the past, I would have been like, well, you're acting like this because you're not listening to personal development anymore. It would have been a passive-aggressive comment. Then we wouldn't have talked for a couple days. Then we started toilet flushing our relationship. Has anybody ever been there? Yeah. You can use your virtual hands on Zoom, or you can say yes on Facebook. But that is where we were. We were seriously, thank you, turn every complaint into an ask. Absolutely. And so we've learned not to be passive aggressive with each other. Sometimes we start feeling it coming, especially right now during these stressful times, my friends. When things happen to us, like the outside circumstances that are happening right now, and there's tension at home, we drop a state. We go back to old patterns. We were just talking to a great couple that, you know, we've been coaching and talking to, and they were saying, God, I did something I used to do 10 years ago. I became passive aggressive and I left the house and I slammed the door. I had not done that in 10 years. What's happening? I love her. And so we drop a state to old behaviors when we're under pressure. So one of the concepts we want to teach today is a concept of human animal and human spirit. Okay, so take a deep breath with us, because a lot of times we internalize all this, you know, complaints and this and tension and this from other people. So we're going to release that. It's not ours. But we learned this concept from Alison Armstrong, our mentor. She's an amazing woman that changed our life. And every human being has two parts. One is our human normal, which we also call human animal. That is our instinct. That is our ability to react, to protect ourselves. If we're in danger, we run. That is our human animal. And when we're in human animal, that is also our reactive nature. That is also a place where we may say things that we don't want to say. Have you ever said something to your child that you regretted the next day? That's because you were a human animal, right? You just responded. You know, my mom used to yell at us before.
Oh, that's where you got it from.
And I got that.
Love you, Mom. She's
and
watching.
Sometimes, like, Dave's like, you know, saying something, and I just like, I'm like, where did that come from? Like, that's not who I am anymore, but that's my human animal. And human animal can be good in times when you're in danger, or if, you know, you got to do something that requires you to react fast. But a lot of times when we're a human animal, we say things we regret. And what happens when emotions go up? Boom, intelligence drops. And how many of you, this is, by the way, very interactive, so feel free to type. How many of you have said something to your spouse that was just terrible, right? And then you regret it the next day?
Let me just throw this out there
Yes.
too, because I just had this thought, and especially right now with everything that's going on and all this craziness in the media, and how it's affecting people personally, but also in their relationship and with their kids. And the media wants to keep people in human animal. It literally forces you into that flight or fight survival mode. And that mode, as Yvette said, is necessary for us to be, where we are today as a human species. But that fight or flight response, that human animal, is really designed for life or death situations. If there's a lion and you're going to survive, you better get into human animal and do what you got to do in order to survive. But in today's modern world, it's very rare that we actually need to be in human animal. Sometimes we need to, and you can use that energy in order to make transformation and make decisions and get things done. But most people go there as their go-to, as their normal is in this flight or fight. When you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off, that's human animal that gets pissed off. At home right now, when you're listening to the media and you're feeling helpless and you're feeling in fear and you're seeing the bank account deplete and you're like, well, am I going to get my $1,200? I don't know if I can pay for my business, for my employees. All of that gets people into human animal. And again, it's not right or wrong, but when we make decisions from human animal, a lot of times that's what causes more chaos than if we would have taken a breath and come from human spirit. It's the same experience that's happening, how your partner shows up, but how you respond is going to determine the quality of your life.
Oh, so powerful. And thank you, Priscilla. You are right. If one child is yours and it's not your partner's, your new partners, that can create more chaos. And that I can see human animals show up even 10 times stronger, because now you're not just in reaction, but a lot of times you protect your child. So
well, here's what's crazy that's happening right now is, think about it. Imagine now both couples, they usually go to work and have that time apart. But now with everything that's going on, you got couples that are spending more time with each other. And most of the time they're each in human animal. How much more chaos are they creating in their house and with their kids? Just by knowing this one little thing of human spirit. So then the question becomes, how do people get into human spirit?
Yes, so human spirit is where opportunity is. It's where creativity is. It's where you have your connection to God. Human spirit is a place of choice, and human spirit is where you step in with wisdom. Human spirit is waiting before you make a reactive comment. Right now on Facebook, everybody's so heated, and everybody on Facebook is fighting over one side, the conspiracy, the this, the that, right? And so sometimes somebody might put something on my post and my blood just like goes, and I'm like,
defriend.
The old me, human animal, defriend, send, bye-bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Human spirit, take a deep breath, step into, okay, that person has the right to express themselves. That person has their self-expression. That person is speaking up. That person is protecting their values. That person. And so stepping into human spirit, okay, my children are crying. My husband's asking for this. Okay, I'm going to step in human spirit instead of yelling at everybody, which is the way that I would have reacted in the past. I'm improving so much, is stepping into human spirit. And one of the secrets of how we step into human spirit is BOP. BOP. Okay, just think of who put the bop in the bop, she bop, who put, okay, I don't know the song, but anyway, BOP. Ramalama ding dong. Just kidding.
Don't do that again.
That's the blue fun in me. Okay, that's a fun personality type. That's the green personality trying to keep me on schedule. Okay.
I love how she narrates things. Like literally, this is not a new thing. She's been doing that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
She narrates. Does anybody else have your partner narrate what she is talking about? I mean, that's
lesson number 3. Hunter versus gatherer. I'm in gathering mode. We're in gathering mode. We narrate every step of the process. So everybody will have all the details, so they will trust us further. So that lesson is coming. But when we do BOP, breathe, open, and pause. So sometimes when we're like, just like, and I'm saying this information, my friends, has not made our marriage problem free or tension free. That exists because our brains are wired differently. Me as a woman, my information and communication center is 3 times larger than his. He has up to 10, up to 30 more times more testosterone than I do. That's why a lot of women get sick after we're running and going crazy. And that's also why women have a higher rate of depression and anxiety, because guess what? Part of our worry center is almost 3 times larger in a woman than it is in a man. So there are differences that makes us different, but sometimes we're running so hard at the same speeds that there is major breakdown. So when we find ourselves in human animal and we have a tension or a fight, guess what we do? We balk. Breathe. Open. Just open your body, because a lot of times what happens when we fight, we go like this and we start getting ourselves in a negative state. So opening our hearts, it just reminds us, not only physically, we're opening up our hearts to receive the other person, but also to change our state, change our physical from this and not breathing to this. So breathe, open, and pause. And I may say to him, baby, I'm in a bad state right now. Can we talk about this in a couple hours? Or I would just, okay, you know what? I need to go on a quick walk around the house. Just give me a couple minutes. I want to talk about this. This is very important, but I'm not in a great state right now. Breathe, open, pause. If somebody gives you bad news, if somebody calls you and tells you, breathe, open, pause. I can't tell you how many fights we have avoided or ended way early because of balk.
Yes, it's huge. And in your relationship, obviously that's so powerful, but anything in business, when you're responding to emails, even when you're on your social media, instead of immediately responding and reacting, breathe. Do that breath. That breath gets the oxygen to the brain. You're going to have better thoughts. You're going to be able to think better reasonably. And then also the open. It's amazing when you do this. Everybody, just where you're sitting, just do this. Just like even just a few millimeters, getting your shoulders back and your chest opens up. That also brings a state of courage, where this is more restricted and doubt and fear. This is more courageous, more power with this. So just by even doing that, as simple as that sounds, and you open up your heart, you'd be amazed on how much more resourceful you are. And I'm going to suggest that we go from this one to this one, and talk about that last, because I think it ties right in.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys. As you participate, we are checking because we want to be interactive. And we had a great, Doug, thank you for saying guilty. We have all been there. And also, Dan, at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about adding playfulness to our lives, especially right now. So definitely, thank you so much.
And let me just also acknowledge you guys on Facebook and Zoom, because we know how many things and people and apps and videos are tugging for all of our times. But the fact that you're here and you're learning, we really just want to honor that, because there's so many things that you could be listening to or watching. And so thank you for tuning in. We know how powerful this is for us. And if it helps you in any way, we hope it does.
Yes, thank you. And so how many of you are working from home right now? Just type in working from home or business from home, or whatever your work situation. We want to know, because the next concept, we promise you, will change your life. Thank you,
so
Jessica.
Melissa said she was.
Yeah.
Lily is working from home. Phyllis is working from home. Yep.
Jessica, not yet, but will be soon. Great.
And Becky, business
from home.
Cool.
Great. So thank you guys for that. That kind of gives us a good idea. But the next part, I can't even tell you how powerful can be, especially if right now you have the kids and the husband and the partner, and there's all this stuff at home. So we're going to talk about the topic of hunting and gathering. And it's basically a mode that you operate in, kind of like a Windows operating mode or a Mac operating mode. Not good, not bad. Well, right now a lot of people are arguing they're not happy with Windows and Microsoft. But in the past, when both were pretty equal and good, you're choosing to operate in this mode or you're choosing to operate in this mode based on what's going on in your life. So I will talk about gathering mode and they will talk about hunting mode. And when you are in gathering mode, you speak a lot. You talk a lot of detail. You fuel by sharing stories. You are expressive, communicative. Sometimes I call my grandma, we're in gathering mode. I'm doing the dishes, I'm talking to her. We're like, blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, 45 minutes went by. When you're in gathering mode, you're more creative, you're open. When you're in gathering mode, you can hear something, from across the street. When you're in gathering mode, you notice every single detail. You notice the dirty socks that need to be picked up. You notice the dishes that need to be made. You even remember that your neighbor forgot to take their trash out yesterday. When you're in gathering mode, you can get very overwhelmed very easily because so much stuff is getting thrown your way and you see it all. And so that's what a lot of women sometimes explode and overwhelm because it's like they're getting it from here, they're getting it from here, they're getting it from here. They're trying to balance everything and then there's this explosion because of overwhelm. And a lot of times the rage monster shows up. And the rage monster is something we teach that's more advanced. We will teach it in the future training, not today, because that's a whole class in itself.
But the key to that class is not teaching you how to get to the rage monster.
No.
It's teaching you how to avoid the rage monster.
Or if the rage monster shows up, how
yeah.
to cool down the rage monster and how you can be a hero in your girl's life.
Becky says you're describing me. That's awesome, Becky.
Great. Thank you, Becky.
Well, and these two modes right here that we're describing, they're scientifically proven on, and I'm sure many of you know and believe that obviously we were created differently. Men and women were created differently for a specific reason. God obviously created us so we could procreate, but also with our scientifically, with the chemicals that are in our systems. For example, women have a tremendous amount of estrogen, which gives them the ability to tap into that gathering mode a lot more easier. It's more their nature, right? And then I'll share a little bit of hunting mode, and the testosterone that men have, which is 10 times more than women, forces us, I should say forces us, but it directs us into more of a hunting mode. However, what Yvette just shared, that could be a man too, especially today in how we live our lives. Sometimes men are more in gathering mode than their women are. Sometimes women are more in hunting mode than their men are. So this is not gender specific. This is just how you're showing up in the moment and being aware of, we do have those two different modes. So hunting mode is completely opposite than gathering mode. Hunting mode is all about producing a result. It's all where gathering mode is about diffused awareness and you can multitask and do all these things. Hunting mode, you're laser focused and you got to go produce a result. You don't see anything else. It's laser focused. And so the benefit to that is you're committed to an outcome and a goal. And if you're a hunter, then you got to be committed to going and I'm sorry for anybody, because I love animals too. You want to make sure that you bring home food for the family to eat or else you won't survive. So being in hunting mode, the benefit is you're laser focused to an outcome and you're staying committed and you're results driven. The consequence could be sometimes you don't see things that somebody who's in gathering mode is able to see. So sometimes you can't step back because you're so. How many of us, men or women, have ever been so in hunting mode that we could possibly see the cliff we're about to fall off of, but we're such in a hunting mode that we can't actually look down, and our partner, our gathering mode says, hey, you might want to consider, we're just going to push through. And next thing you know, you fall off that cliff and you're like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that I didn't see that.
Yes, and so nowadays, because society has so nurtured that strong hunting mode, most women are operating in hunting mode a lot of the time. We're hunting, behaving our children, making sure our children do their homework. We're in hunting mode with work. We're in hunting mode with our business. And that's basically what became a problem. I forgot how to be a girl in terms of exercising my gathering muscle. I had exercised my hunting muscle so strong, and I was an amazing hunter, was getting great results, but it was breaking down a relationship. And I remember when our mentor said,
I'm gonna grab something.
yeah,
I'll do
absolutely.
Kind of
and I remember when our mentor said, two hunters don't want to sleep together. And I was like, well, how do I do this hunting thing with work and then be a gatherer? In our relationship, what creates polarity is when I'm in gathering mode and he's in hunting mode. So, but in other relationships, it's opposite. You have to figure out what it is that you want to operate in when you're in your relationship and how it shows up. And so thank you so much. I'm getting some great feedback on Facebook as well. Edith, you work from home. Hi, Mama. And also, hello, Birgit from Sweden. So good to see you, my friend.
So the reason I wanted to do this, because let's talk about some implementation, where a lot of us are working from home right now, or even if you're not working from home, you're spending a lot more time at home with your partner, with your family. And one of the keys to understanding how this really works is understanding it, but then implementation. Because there are things that your partner, if you really know what to look for, you'll know if they're in hunting mode or they're in gathering mode. The challenge in a relationship is when somebody's in hunting mode, and let me just show you what hunting mode looks like when somebody's working, okay? And they pretend like you're oblivious and you're in gathering mode, and this is kind of one of the challenges that happens.
Okay.
So in hunting mode, somebody's direct, laser focused. You can tell in their shoulders that they're focused on an outcome, they're focused on a result, whether it's putting together a website, whether it's sending some sales and marketing, doing a Facebook Live, or answering some emails. This is what hunting mode looks like.
Babe, can you hold Maddie? I gotta go really quick outside.
Babe, I'm trying to finish some work here, please.
Jeez, why are you so rude? What a jerk.
You don't even know how many times that really has happened in the past. And have you ever wondered why you ask your partner a question and they snap back? It's usually because they're in hunting mode, and when you interrupt a hunter, it's like taking a freaking thing on a chalkboard and scratching it. That's how painful it feels to a hunter when they get interrupted from producing a result or an outcome, even if they get interrupted from producing a result for your partner.
Now,
listen to that.
Can I hunt and you interrupt me? Because when women are in hunting mode, it's also something very similar.
Hey, babe, can I ask you, with the mouse?
Babe, I'm working right now. I can't talk.
Huh?
Babe, I'm working on something. I don't get to do that so often because I'm usually in human spirit.
So, guys and girls, women also are in hunting mode a lot, especially today. So when we interrupt them, and guys, I'm gathering mode more times as I get older than I was when I was younger. But even when we're in gathering mode and we interrupt a hunter, she's gonna snap too.
And guys, it's not like I mean to. It's just when you interrupt that level of focus, it takes a lot to get back into focus. And so most of the time when you interrupt and you poke the hunter, they step into human animal and oh Lord, the fight comes up.
So here's some solutions. But by the way, also again, gathering mode, when somebody's in gathering mode, this is what gathering mode would look like if somebody just so you get the cues and you can see like the physiology, and it's not just about words, but it's about
I feel a better gatherer, babe.
well, look at Penny. I'm not that good at gathering yet. Okay, you do gathering. You do gathering. You do gathering.
I'll do gathering. You.
Yeah. So.
Buddy, I love you. Oh, babe. Is it time to eat yet? Oh my God, I love these flowers. Mamita, you wanna come over here? Come with Mama. I got another leg for you to lean on. Come on. All right.
You see how she, like, I can't do that. Like, I don't know how she does all that. And just she still is able to get some stuff done. So our gathering mode may not be as powerful as theirs, but we still do get into gathering mode. So you can tell by somebody's physiology, you can tell by what somebody is saying or how they're acting, whether they're in hunting mode or gathering mode. So the reason we bring this up is while you're at home with your partner, and you don't need to master it, but just having that awareness, is she in hunting mode or gathering mode right now? Is he in hunting mode or in gathering mode right now? And how can I best communicate to bring out the best in my partner so that we can have a great time at home? So hunting and gathering, it's a great exercise, and we challenge you guys to start looking even with other people that are out and about on, is that hunting mode, is that gathering mode? And you'll be amazed on in business, in relationships, on how that could be such a powerful tool for you.
Yes, and then you know that people that are in gathering mode, let's say you are leading a team and you have employees or team members in your business that are mostly in gathering mode. If you call them and you just go, hey, I just wanted to let you know, can you get this done? They will be hurt, because gatherers are all about the relationship. So for gathering mode, people that are mostly in gathering mode, and you will know, you got to call them up and say, how's it going? So tell me, give me a little catch up. What's happened? I have about 5 minutes. Let them know if you're in hunting mode, give them a time limit, or else the gatherers will take 45 minutes and tell you what happened since the last 2 years. Okay? Hey, I have 5 minutes. I'd love to catch up. How's it going?
You guys don't even know how hard that is for me. I can't stand chit chat, but I realize she's absolutely right. Sometimes you got to have some of those questions in the beginning to build some connection for the gatherers, because or else if you're just always in hunting mode, you're just going to be bulldozing people over.
Gabby, this is me when I talk to Yvette. I love it, Gabby, because sometimes we're both in gathering mode, and I so enjoy our conversations. Like one time, Dave, I went on a walk around the block, and for 45 minutes, Gabby and I just did what we call the meta report. We just talked about everything we caught up. And
hey, by the way, Gabby, thank you so much. You are saving me so much holding the basket, because she's getting a lot of that information out, talking to you on a regular basis. So thank you, Gabby.
So girls, when you're in gathering mode and you get so overwhelmed, you have to empty out your basket. If you don't have a partner, then you can empty out your basket to your dogs, or you can empty out your basket to email, but you have to release that overwhelm, because when you don't, that overwhelm builds up and that turns into the rage monster.
Let me ask this to our community, for the ladies and for the male. Gabby says, well,
looks at her and he goes, how long do I have to listen to you? Just tell him, hold the baby, hold the basket. I'm going to empty out everything I got.
Ladies, and I know most of the ladies are watching this, but also for the guys, let me throw this suggestion out there. How amazing would it be for our ladies to have a gathering Zoom, where they just get on the Zoom and you ladies just meta report to your heart's desires? I'm telling you, I think that is an unbelievable idea, because guys, number one, it's going to help us so that they can let go of all of that tension and get that communication out. And I have a feeling that would be a lot of fun for the ladies on a gathering type Zoom.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, in Allison's teachings, it says that when you're in girl time and you're in gathering mode, anytime you talk after 20 minutes, at the 20-minute mark, you reach euphoric feelings. Very similar, not quite as high as an orgasm, but I knew I was going to say that word. Hey, I get certified. I have to say that word.
Yeah,
because
say it again.
That is the power of having a conversation, okay? It makes us ready for what?
Yes, it's so true.
You empty out the basket, you feel peaceful. So that was a bonus. We weren't supposed to talk about emptying the basket, but when somebody is
my mom is watching and you just said orgasm.
I said my mom.
Hola.
No estamos hablando de nosotros, desde la otra familia de lado.
I thought.
I just said we're not talking about us, we're talking about the other family.
Yeah, that's great.
No. But anyway.
All right, so we've been going for 47 minutes. Okay. By the way, awesome. So just to kind of repeat, we got one more additional strategy for you to help during these crazy times as couples and relationships and being quarantined. So just to repeat, the first was human animal, human spirit, knowing the difference. The second was hunting and gathering mode, each one of us knowing what mode and how to anticipate or see what the mode our partner's in. And what's the third?
The third is something that we recently discovered because, we wake up, we sleep together, we wake up together, we eat together, and we work together. And so there's been a couple of times where we've gotten into like major fights. We're like, God, we know this stuff. And like we step into human animal. And so one of the things that we started doing that's changed everything, we call it walk it out. And you go on walks together. And I know it seems kind of like small, but let me tell you, walks are underrated. And I was reading this book that Gabby told me to read that changed my life. The name of the book is The Obstacle is the Way. And Ryan Holiday, an amazing, amazing young man, wrote this book on the different historical times when there were massively difficult things going on, and how leaders basically not only survived, but many companies were created in some of the most difficult times. And in the book, he talks consistently about taking walks. And now taking walks, the ideas, the creativity, you get away from technology. And anytime he had a writer's block, he would go on a walk and boom, he'd get these amazing ideas. Then Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, interviewed him, and Tim Ferriss said that his walks are so important because that's where the creativity and the ideas. And so Dave and I this morning, we said, instead of driving to get tea at our favorite little cafe, which is how we get out of the house once a day, let's walk there. And it was a mile away. And usually we've had a limiting belief, like walking is a waste of time. Like we got to run because we're in hunting mode, right? We got to get the car and
or get on our bikes
or run to get the exercise. And we did this walk today. And I can't even tell you the ideas, the thoughts, the conversations. We even worked through a disagreement we had and then created something new. So much stuff happened in a 2-mile walk.
And we started realizing how this has been in our space for so long, where some of our favorite teachers and authors, they would constantly talk about going for these walks and quieting your mind and how great these ideas. And so we started doing that, and oh my God, first of all, just being outside in the air and breathing in oxygen and having a different environment, and especially if you live in a beautiful area where you can see the scenery. And then just the fact of moving your body and breathing, more oxygen, breathing, and being with the person that you love. And even if you do it on your own, but being with the person that you love, and then little thoughts that come in, and then one question might pop in that opens up a conversation that leads to this, that, and the other thing. I mean, we literally created some magic on this morning's walk, and we're like, we got to do this more often. Why aren't we doing this more often? This is so cool.
And that, my friends, is also what adds humor, because that's the last part we're going to leave you with is, oh, hello, we got a visitor that's not expected. So, mamita, mamita. Okay, we have a guard dog. She thinks she's a pit bull. So adding humor to your day, figuring out a way to make each other smile. Like Dave and I do some funny things to add humor to our day. The other day he was doing a Zoom, and I went and found this old blue coat. It was like a blue furry coat. And as soon as he finished his Zoom, I hid behind the closet and I jumped out with this big blue coat, and he laughed so hard and I laughed so hard. So adding humor to our day, is so important, because through these hard times and through these things, figure out some new things that you can do as a couple. Like we decided to start learning how to do some of the TikToks. Babe, can you grab mamita? And so we started figuring out how to do some TikToks and how to do some funny dance routines. And so add some humor to your day. I don't care if it's like watch. Yes, Becky, you have humor unlocked. I love that. And Selena, you also said, this is Rudy all in on the 27-minute thing. Rudy, are you saying about holding the basket for Selena? And if so, that will be life changing. Once a day, Dave will go, after we have transitioned from our hunting mode, he will say to me, okay, baby, what was great about your day? And he'll hold the basket for me. And then he will just zip it and listen. And I will tell him, well, even though much of what happened was next to him, but I have that need to empty the basket. Now I'll empty the basket. And Rudy, if I can share one key, is at the end, this is counterintuitive. And that's what human spirit is about. Don't try to fix her. Don't try to say, well, can I help you with this or can I help you with that? She just let go of all her overwhelm. She just shared her entire day with you or whatever it was. The way you provide is by listening. And at the end of when I empty my basket, what do you say to me?
Is there anything you'd like me to do with that information?
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
And if I have more bandwidth, I might even ask, is there anything else that you'd like to share? And then I'll say that as a last question. But also, since we're on this topic, Selena, like anything, relationships are a dance. And we guys, when we listen to our women, don't come from a place of fixing them. But the other side of it, ladies, because we live in a world today where, women's liberation and women can do everything and anything a man can do. And that's great. And that's awesome because we're both at this equal place. But the challenge behind that is sometimes we forget that us as men, our whole freaking life is designed around protecting and providing for our family, protecting and providing for our queen, the person that we love the most. But the dynamic that happens today is because women are so strong and they don't need a man ain't a plan, that even with little things, we sometimes at home don't feel like we are the hero, don't feel like we're providing, don't feel like we're protecting. And if we don't have opportunities to be able to do that, a lot of times what happens is people find doing that at work. Men find doing that somewhere outside. And the same thing with in a relationship. So the reason I bring that up, Selena, and for the ladies out there, when you can and you're conscious of what we're talking about here, set your man up to succeed. Set your man up to be the hero. Because if you do that, he's going to run through a freaking wall for you. So what do I mean by that? Well, something as simple as a couple of weeks ago, the door, we needed to put a lock on the bedroom door upstairs. And not a handy man, but anytime that I can do something to be the hero in our family, I'm all about it. So she said, hey, I'd like to. So immediately when she said that, she could have easily called a handyman or even try to do it herself. And that's what a lot of people do at the house. Women, they just kind of take it on their own and just get it done. And of course you can do it. That's not the point. But what she did was she said, honey, we really need to get a lock on that door up in our bedroom. And is there any way you could make that happen? And if you did that, that would provide me feeling a level of safety, and I would feel honored and that you were really thinking of me. And when she said that, oh my God, she probably didn't even see me run out the door to go to Home Depot to go buy a lock. And I had some tools in there. And literally that day, I did the whole thing, and I felt like I achieved something. I felt like I was honoring her. But in the past, she would have done it herself, or she would have hired somebody. But now we know these dynamics. Now she's bringing out the hero in me. And when she brings that out, it at least puts it in a place where I can succeed. Now all of a sudden, I want to be even more for her. And she wants to be even more for me. And now we lift each other up.
So ladies, don't hesitate to ask for help. Even though most of us grew up hearing words like, you don't need anybody's help, you can accomplish anything you want, and yes, you can. But asking for help lights our partners up. Asking for help lights your son up. Asking for help lights your leaders up, letting them know that you want, especially if they're males and they're wired to provide, they're wired to be your hero. Being able to ask for help is huge, and it's life changing.
Yeah, and Selena, we love you and Rudy, and a big part of this, it's so easy, and maybe you haven't read the book The Queen's Code, but when we start learning some of these things and we have those aha moments, it's so easy to beat ourselves up, and we're going to encourage you. You're hearing and learning this at the perfect time for you in your life, in your relationship. And this isn't about looking back and trying to beat yourself up for what you didn't do. None of us get taught this.
No,
We don't
beat
lead us in
ourselves up
school.
for a while too,
Yeah.
for all the breakdown that we had. I remember breaking up over Christmas and having to tell our parents, and it was just like heartbreaking. He moved out. We were going through such difficult times, and that breakdown can be the biggest gift in a relationship. Like, it just, like, we achieved a love that we didn't even know was possible. And like, when we walk through immigration after a trip, people are always asking us, are you guys coming back from your honeymoon? Are you guys newlyweds? Because we chose each other again. And that is just like, oh,
The second time means it more than the first time, trust me. The second time means it, because the first time, it's almost like the lights are off. A lot of us are unconscious. We just love because emotions and this passion going on. But when you do it the second time, it's more of a conscious thing, and you bring new skills, new joy, new happiness, and a new level. And when you do it the second time, it's way more juicier. And what I mean by the second time doesn't mean that, you got to get separated in a divorce in order to do it. It's just that new level of commitment. It's committing again to your partner.
So, my friends, those are the lessons that we shared today. If you would like more, just comment below and let us know what kinds of topics you would like us to touch, or maybe we can do a series. We're here to serve, put positive energy in the air. I just want to thank you guys. Thank you, Selena, for sharing that. That is amazing that you are asking for help and allowing that space for him to be your hero. And a lot of us women have been taught, don't ask for help. And it's looked bad or frowned upon. And so it's counterintuitive again. That is when we step into human spirit and we ask for help. But let me give you one little tip. When you do ask for help, make sure they're not in hunting mode. Oh, there you go. We can drop the mic right there, because I'm like, babe, I need your help. Yes. I'm working on something. Yes.
And maybe on the next one we do, we'll teach how to ask for help. Yes, because there is a good, better, best. A good way, just to give you an example, if you want your partner to throw out the trash, hey, could you throw out the trash, please? Okay, that's asking them. Another way, which is getting to the best way to ask to bring out the best in your partner, is, hey, honey, would you mind throwing out the trash? If you threw out the trash, that would provide me feeling safe and also feeling honored. Could you do that for me? See, when we hear throw out the trash, if there's not a purpose behind it, as a man, as a hunter, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's like, okay, throw out the trash. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I don't. But the moment she tells me what it's going to provide for her, now all of a sudden I could be the hero for her just by throwing out the trash. Now throwing out the trash becomes a mission for me. It becomes something that I must do now, not just forget about it and then her getting pissed off. Why didn't you throw the trash? You must not care about me. You must not love me. You must not be listening to me. Big difference.
That is power, and thank you. Becky says she can't wait to go out and try figuring out if people are in hunting and gathering. Oh my God,
6
Becky.
feet, 6 feet though.
And keep us updated, because we love to hear the perspectives and also figuring out the colors. Yes. And Lily says that it's been a great challenge for her, asking for help as well. I totally hear you, Lily, and it's a practice. And just remember, human animal, human spirit, ask for help. And it's crazy, because practice this at Whole Foods or, at the market, and ask for help. If you ask in a way that we're going to teach you in a future class, how to ask for something and what it's going to provide, and there's a formula we teach. One time I had 2 guys at Whole Foods carrying my baskets. And no, It was a completely honoring thing because Dave was even there. He was at another aisle, but I asked for help and I did it using Queen's Code. And I had two guys carrying my basket and wanting to help me. And it's because of that chivalry, of that wanting to serve, and also asking in a loving way and honoring.
Who were these two guys?
It was Francisco and Panchito.
So true. You should see. I mean, I see her interact with people, come fix stuff at the house, and it's amazing how you can just see their just how she communicates with them. It's so honoring, and it has nothing to do with any sexual tension or anything. It's just honoring the opposite sex. And Dan over here says, you guys seem to be have so much playfulness. How do you connect to that? Dan, we don't take life very seriously. Yvette and I, if there's one thing that we do is we laugh. We have joy. We smile all the time, and we make fun of each other. And sometimes I make fun of her. She don't like it too much, but that's just how I show up, or we show up. So
yeah. And Dan, if I can give you one tip, I was not joyful. I was very depressed and sad and not feeling in a good place. So I created at one Tony Robbins event, I created my declarations and I put, I am joyful and playful. And I read that every single morning until one day somebody said to me, you're so joyful and playful. And I literally started bawling because it had been something that I wanted to become and I wanted to be. And it was like so hard for me to crack myself open, and I had become that. So I read that affirmation daily. So it's interesting that you asked about that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny, Dan, because Dan, you knew us back in the day as well, and you know, when I was a cop, how quiet I was, how distant I was, didn't smile very much back then. And one of the things that also helped me is to have that awareness. Is number one, you know, don't take life so seriously. Not everybody's a bad person. Not everybody's trying to do bad things. And so one of the things that I put down is, and I realized one of the reasons why I was so angry and frustrated and depressed was because I was putting so much of the focus on me. And I did a reframe years ago. And instead of just focusing on myself and how I'm feeling, what people are thinking about me or need to do for me, I had an affirmation is I can't remember what it was. It was something to the effect of, how can I put more smiles on people's faces today? How can I help more people smile today? And for me, that got my humor side just dancing. And so now today, a lot of people know me as the jokester, but I do it not because I want to make fun of people. I do it because I want to bring joy. I love bringing smiles and laughter, because the other side of that is crying all the time. And as a cop, I could either cry or laugh, and I chose to bring humor rather than get disempowered. So
beautiful. Doug has a question. He says, I need to order more baskets. Can I use your Amazon Prime account? I heard you're a bronze member. Oh my goodness, Doug. I know you're doing a great job of holding the basket for Kimberly. So that's amazing. And now Princess Laura will have many meta reports that she will be bringing to Daddy.
Man, you're going to get double time, brother.
How cool that she get a daddy that understands meta reporting, and she will be able to feel so fulfilled and loved.
Awesome. I think Mamita's calling it. Man, we've been an hour and 5 minutes. Thank you guys for being and tuning in, and we look forward to doing more of these and also learning from you guys as well. So please hit us up. Let us know if next time, maybe what we'll do is we'll do some Q&A next time, because there might be some specific.
I did say we were going to do Q&A today, but we went a little bit longer, so we want to respect each other's time. If you had a follow-up question, you can send it to us, and then we will address it at our next event. I will be doing these Facebook Lives every Wednesday at the same time, and he will come in as a guest as he can. And
Lily says it's already an hour, and it seems like, I know.
Right, Lily? I know, I hear you. But if you liked what you saw, Dave and I did a 90-minute, more advanced webinar on this. Hit us up, let us know, comment. I would like the webinar, and I'm happy to give you the replay to that. And we're just super happy to share this because it